You juiced?
After spending the day with you yesterday, Doug, yes. And not in a steroid way.
6-hour round trip to come here was a big play from you, but hugely valuable.
And hugely valuable, and then my window broke. So yeah, Southend effect.
Southend seafront, it's dangerous. Now, I was in Sainsbury's on Sunday, and I've got a gripe with Sainsbury's Westcliff in that they've decreased the size of the magazine section because they wanted to fit in more beer. And and what that's done is it's taken some of the business titles away. No Economist, no Investors Chronicle.
Really?
Yeah, we are left with a very small selection. Another interesting thing about this Sainsbury's is when they restock the shelves, they have this thing called, I think it's something like Plan-O-Matics, which is basically a layout of how the shelves have to look. And so like the people are restocking the shelves and they've got this grid of, cool, this is how the shelves have to look. And all of the shelves had little segments on. And the Sainsbury's near me in Westcliff is called Urban, Not Affluent. That is the type of Sainsbury's we're in. So I reckon they stock the shelves differently in like crap areas to nice areas, and they call it not affluent. It's quite interesting, isn't it?
Urban, not affluent. Do you think they're saying you're urban and you're definitely not affluent, or you're not in the affluent category?
I think they're saying.
Do you think they're saying
urban, poor? And then, but then I looked at the shelves, and it did have loads of like Nicorette, how to stop smoking stuff on. So someone in some bod at Sainsbury's has probably thought, okay, cool, demographic, a lot of C, D, E stuff. Let's pump them with the Nicorettes.
I mean, it makes sense, right? Because consumer behaviour is different. Consumer behaviours are different. I don't know how you classify them, but it's a well understood thing that Waitrose is a very different shopping experience to something like a Poundland. The way that those stores are set up. Not that there's anything wrong with either of those, but it's very, very different. Consumer behaviours are different, so it doesn't surprise me too much. But yeah, all right, you're urban. You've always been a little bit street, though, Doug.
Yeah, definitely urban, and apparently, according to Sainsbury's, not affluent. But this is not the purpose of the pod. The purpose of the pod is... So, have you ever heard of the magazine? So I was looking at the magazines in Sainsbury's in terms of, cool, what has made the cut?
Yeah,
and one of the magazines...
Your urban...
Yeah, in urban, not affluent, what's made the cut?
Right.
One of the magazines is The People's Friend. Have you heard of that?
No, it sounds like some shit kind of chat mag.
Yeah, The People's Friend, demographic female over 55. Right, but what caught my eye about this magazine? It's weekly, right? It is on edition number. I'm just looking at the front of it. 7,989. This thing is hundreds, well over 100 years old. And it's aimed at women over 50, and it's kind of fiction primarily. And it's got a little bit of stuff about cooking and a bit of stuff about knitting, that kind of stuff. Incredibly popular.
Right, hold. Guess when it's... Well, I'm not going to ask you to guess. Its first edition was released on the 13th of January, 1869.
Yeah. I know.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is amazing. So...
Wow.
What I did is I was interested in who owns this thing. And it's a company in Scotland, in Dundee, called DC Thompson. And they basically own a load of websites and media assets. They own things like Beano Magazine, Commando Magazine. They own this.
Dandy?
Yeah, that's the vibe.
Childhood stuff.
So I'm looking down their company report. So they've got pretty detailed report of Company's House from last year. And what it does is it breaks down in quite a bit of detail all of their revenue and from their different subsidiaries. What was really interesting is I stumbled across one of their business units, which is fascinating. It's called Find My Past, and it is genealogy, which basically means you can get details on all of your relatives and your family tree. What's interesting about this is that the MD in the report is talking about how well that business unit is doing. And so it turns over, bearing in mind this is just UK, it turns over like 25 million a year, just in, I think, mainly subscriptions for people looking for details about their family. So what they have done is all of this data from 1921 has been released by the British government or whatever. So they have sent
like census data, right? Yeah, it's all census data, probably, isn't it?
Exactly. And so in 2022, a load was released. But what these guys have done, they spent 3 years like digitizing all of this data, and then you just pay like a monthly fee to get access to it, so you can kind of map your family tree. So that makes 25 million a year just in the UK market. So what's interesting from a business perspective, that is interesting, but if you're a small business, I was like, I wonder if you can make money as an affiliate here. I wonder if you could kind of create a website, information about family trees and the census and all of that kind of stuff, get that traffic and then direct people to Find My Past. And the answer is there is an absolute shit ton of traffic for the census. So you could be creating loads and loads of content about the census, about the past, about different family names, about different events in history. Get all of that information on a website and then just drive all of that traffic to Find My Past. And they're paying, I think, a 15% affiliate fee for any traffic that you drive. So it's just a brilliant content side hustle business. What do you think about genealogy?
Yeah, I mean, I think people's family histories are amazing. I mean, like I said to you yesterday, this is quite pertinent actually. When I drove down to see you yesterday, I was listening to My American Life. This American Life, yeah, sorry. And it was about these lads in 1977 who'd found this house completely untouched. You know, it's got World War II kind of like Nazi Germany invades Poland type newspapers in it, and it was full. And they couldn't find the family that lived there, and they eventually tracked it down. They'd left a store in 1968 as well, completely untouched. You know, cornflakes still on the side, candy still in the buckets. And they took 20 years to find out who lived in these houses, and it turned out it was a large family, a notable family called the Nasons. And it was an amazing story. So I think genealogy, super interesting. Discovering the past, super interesting. I am stunned, though, looking at Find My Past, that coming from a company that produces content, that they don't have this kind of strategy. They don't produce anything. They don't write anything about it to promote their website. As far as I can see, just do paid.
What they do have is they do have like a YouTube channel that isn't bad. And they also have like a Facebook community, which is just a really nice play. So they've got like 100,000 people in a Facebook community, and all of those people are going in and just giving tips and ideas and things that they found on it. So they've done the business brilliantly.
They've got some stuff actually. Yeah, they've got some stuff. The YouTube's quite comprehensive actually, isn't it? But that doesn't. But like you say though, that leaves open SEO content, doesn't it? To a degree, there may be an opportunity there.
Yeah, look, they're going to be getting... There's nothing wrong with their strategy. They're getting good traffic. Yeah. They've got YouTube tied up. That's really good. The community is a brilliant play. They've gone and got the information. They've built an unbelievable moat around the business. But as a small content operator, you can sit alongside that and you can look at key terms that they have not targeted, because there will be lots, and you can create content that's slightly different and angles people in a different way. So I love their business. I just think it's brilliant in terms of how defensible it is. And I also think it just opens up a whole market around it. Because initially I thought, surely you could just go and get that data and then we can just rip off their business. And then, if they're making 25 million, you just do the same version of it. But they've got community. They've spent 3 years getting the data. You can't do that, but you can be a lead gen for them.
Fascinating. Do Ancestry.com, out of interest, have a affiliate scheme as well? Because they're a big player, aren't they?
That almost certainly will do.
Yeah, I think I like it, Doug. I mean, it's if you think there's the depth of what you can write, I think that's the challenge. If you can find the depth to be able to produce enough content to be able to redirect this to make money out of that 15%, I don't know what they charge. I don't know what 15% equals for a sale. I don't know how much you're getting for that. But if you can write compelling content, and there's enough in it for it to become consistently interesting, or you can be consistent with it, Yeah, why not?
Let's just end the episode on strategically 3 things that you would do. Firstly, you just find keywords that are way more accessible and with lower competition in this area. Then you would create very compelling content, like what you just described. You come up with stories about the past, so people are really kind of sucked into your website. And so it's not just some SEO churn. You've got really high quality stories that people want to read. And then the third thing, you'd want to build PR and links into that website. So you'd find like a really cool story, like the one you described, and you'd take that to the press to get attention to your website. So you would think of yourself as a mini media business that is creating great content about the past, but you would have an SEO strategy under that that's then getting traffic, but then driving it to either these guys or Ancestry or that kind of thing. I think if you're somebody that loves researching history and doing these things anyway, and you want a side hustle business, this is fantasy. In terms of how much it says 15%. I've not examined it more, but I think that's per lifetime.
That's pretty healthy though, isn't it? I think that's a pretty...
If it's lifetime, and their lifetime's about, I think it's £20 a month or something. Yeah, so if you find a subscriber and you're taking, whatever that is, £3 a month in perpetuity, that is really, really decent scheme.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really interested. I love history. I love all of that research and stuff. I get into huge holes, and I know I'm not the only one that does. Yeah, I like it. I mean, you're the content man on this call. I mean, I think the topic and the actual, what someone could build a business around is actually quite interesting.
Do you want to rate my sort of randomness of the idea that I pulled that out of Sainsbury's into People's Friend through to DC Thompson? Do you like that? Or
I like the way you sniffed it out like Sammy would a biscuit. It's kind of like you went down a bit of an avenue with it. I love the People's Friend story. Don't you just love that? This magazine just looks like, I mean, from obviously it's designed in a certain way because of its audience, or they think it's designed that way because of its audience. I love the fact it's been in publication that long. 1870, it turned into a weekly magazine. That's incredible.
It's incredible.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
DC Thompson.
Everybody who's gone.
DC Thompson, I'm looking at their company accounts, and it's like, on Company's House, founded 1904. So that's obviously a big holding company. The magazine was like you say, 35 years before that. And then it got rolled into a company like 120 years ago. It's completely insane.
Yeah.
Headquarters in Dundee. Great. You can see it if you Google it. They've just got this grim building in Dundee where they run it out of. It's just, I think the whole group turns over 125 million a year. It's really private, high quality business.
Yeah, and they probably do 25, 30 million profit out of that, I'd imagine.
Yes, about 10.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, randomness, I guess, great, but this is what entrepreneurialism is about, isn't it? Entrepreneurialism, said it correctly. When you see things and you see opportunity and find that stuff intriguing, hopefully people listening to this will find it and will probably go down their local Sainsbury's in an affluent area or an urban area and buy a copy of People's Friend.
For £2.
I might go and get one, just have a read. I think I should.
I think we should. Actually, I was flicking through it. Actually looks pretty good. Some stories in there. You got fiction stories.
Yeah. Amazing.
But you're sewing.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Doug. Thanks for bringing People's Friend. Have a fantastic morning.